Next, let's square up sports. Women's World Cup hosts record-breaking 87 LGBTQ plus female soccer players. Gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, and queer soccer players who are publicly out are now at least 87 in total, make up nearly 12% of all the athletes competing in the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. These are dozens out of many LGBTQ plus athletes competing this year, far higher than any other previous World Cup. That's about 1 in every 9 players. It's an astounding number for an international competition at the highest level of a sport. That does not include the many other LGBTQ plus athletes who are not publicly out. It's a testament to how far major international women's sports have come in the presence and acceptance of LGBTQ plus athletes. This group of out athletes is more than double the size of the out LGBTQ plus group of athletes who competed in the 2019 Women's World Cup. While the number of teams in the tournament has grown by a third from 24 to 32, over the last 4 years, the number of out athletes has more than doubled. That reflects the growth of acceptance. Almost all of these athletes are from the Americas, Europe, and the host nations of Australia and New Zealand, where laws regarding LGBTQ plus people are generally more favorable than in Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Asia. Can't really say I'm surprised. I mean, some people would say they are with all of the laws happening in, I guess, America, but I'm not really surprised. I think really the sports arena, that whole thing, I don't know not a lot about as a gay, but they are taking in a lot of gay people. So,
well, that's my question. So soccer's the one with the ball with the geometric shapes on it, right?
Yeah.
Is that soccer?
Okay,
Right. Good.
or I mean, maybe football. I mean,
Well,
Okay.
technically volleyball has it's a different shape, but it also has geometric shape.
Just
Here's
the
my
5 sides. Yeah.
here's. Go ahead.
No, go.
Well, first off, hats off to women. Now, again, I went to the original. The number of USA women has dropped.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised with all the crap happening, but I want to know why it's always the women. I can name, and I am not a sports person by any stretch of the imagination, but I can name more current or former LGBTQ plus women athletes than men. And the only one I'm aware of who's active right now is that football player, Carl Nassib, and I only know his name because I'm going to die mad at him because he didn't date me.
But it's, don't you think it's the macho of the locker room and the you're looking at me and all that stuff? It's like, no, we don't.
Well, that opens up a whole new conversation about toxic masculinity.
Well, yeah, right.
Sure.
That's what it is.
It also opens up like the misogyny of like conservative laws, protect women's sports.
That's
blah, blah,
exactly
blah.
right. The misogyny is the key story here because, I mean, and all of these points is exactly what I was thinking about. That is like, for so long when there's a first or whatever, people point to like a gay man in football or a gay man in basketball. But women's sports, they've had queer folks for a long time. It's just, it's the way that society has historically just not taken women's sports seriously. And undermine them and not take, and like this story, I mean, queer spaces, whether they were in like softball leagues or soccer spaces or bowling leagues, right? They've always been a space for queer folks to kind of build community, to feel safe and to I mean, that's also often how, like during Anita Bryant, people threw oranges in to play softball in protest of Florida orange juice, right? Like, I mean, they have always been spaces for us to feel safe. And like this story, I am sure that there are so many more, as this story noted, that simply aren't out. So like, come out wherever you are.
Locker rooms are full of them.
That's right.
Right, representation.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.